What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is the first show back with the Opening Pair Network after our month hiatus. My name is Keith Kilduff, joined once again by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Kyle Gavin. How are you today, sir?
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yeah, I'm very good, Keith. I'm very happy to be back. We had a little bit of a hiatus, but no, it's great to be back.
And thank you very much for buying a new microphone so that I can hear you clearly now, which is even more important.
Yeah.
But so we took a break for about a month, 5 weeks or so, just to kind of get everything right. We wanted to kind of really create this brand and really create kind of our look and feel for the shows. As you can tell, like, we don't have our generic leaved black background anymore, and that is due in part to a wonderful friend and artist of ours, Stephen Pulbrook, at Stephen Pulbrook Design. He came up with our look and feel, he came up with our colour tone, he came up with our brand guidelines, and this is the final version of this. And we really just want to say thank you to Stephen for all that he did for us. I know as a client, dealing with him back and forth, I'm sure I wasn't the easiest to work with at times, but I really do appreciate everything, and it looks really good. We put a link in the description below the video where you can go and check out his work and really support him. He's so talented, and we are really appreciative of everything that he's done for us. We are back, and this is our first show back, so we decided to do something a little bit more fun today. Kyle, do you want to let everybody know, if they haven't read the description, what we're going to do?
We saw, as you say, we decided to do something a little bit fun. Live sports all coming back. Cricket is the next one, and so what we decided was England had announced a 55-man training squad. They've now broken it down into a 30-man test squad plus T20 squad. So we said we'd put our heads together and come up with what we would like as our 11s individually, and then we'll have, I suppose, a healthy debate.
Back and forth, if you will.
Exactly. We'd have that on our combined 11 and see, can we come up with something we'd be happy, and hopefully we won't fall out over it.
No, and if we don't, we can always just take each other off screen if needs be. The beauty of not being in the same room together for a change. But I think it's fair to say it's a big undertaking trying to pick 11. So we've decided to enlist a bit of help. We have a Mullingar Cricket Club legend in some people's eyes.
Stalwart, if you will.
He would probably say he's on the way to being a legend. So I think now is as good as time as any to welcome into the Opening Pair Network, Mr. PJ Mount. PJ, how are you, sir?
Kyle, how are you both doing? Thank you very much for inviting me on. You're very kind for calling me a legend. I'm nowhere near that, nor do I ever aspire to be anything like that. But thank you very much for inviting me on. It's nice to talk about an actual cricket game again.
You say there that you're not a legend, but you are probably, I would say, out in Leinster cricket, outside of the top two senior divisions, you're probably in the top 10 highest wicket takers of all time the last 10 years. So I think you're probably underselling yourself a little bit, but just my opinion. But welcome to the show, definitely. Let's talk a little bit about you to begin with. So I knew you obviously through when Mullingar Cricket Club was in not Finian's, Mount Murray, and that would have been 11 or 12 years ago now. So where did your love for cricket come from, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so it was actually around the time of the 2005 Ashes. I suppose pretty much like everybody else, I had Sky Sports at home. I had a long summer of nothing to do, and I just happened to kind of stumble upon cricket. And we had a neighbour of ours who played a bit of cricket. He's from England as well, so they kind of both overlapped at the same time, and it kind of culminated in sort of realising I like this. I'm okay at it, and it's not too much of an effort to play it. So kind of went from there, and so then, as you said, 2 years later, I moved to Mullingar and ended up joining the cricket club that summer. So summer 2007, I started playing, and I would have met you at senior nets probably the following year, so 12 years ago.
The odd 1 or 2 times that I would turn up to training.
Yeah. I mean, you might bowl about 6 balls and go home, and that would be you done for the evening. But
that was the beauty of having the site near where I lived, I suppose. But Kyle, have you any questions did you want to ask PJ about his career so far?
Not so much questions, but I suppose you'd be known as a cricketing badger in Mullingar. So I'm assuming you're excited about digging your teeth into this combined.
Yeah, like I'm not going to lie, I've spent the last few weeks now catching up on old county games that have been on that Sky has been showing at like 1:00 in the morning, recording them and watching them the next day. So I've been very excited when I did get the invite. I'm not going to lie.
Nah, it's great to have you on.
Definitely echoing Kyle's comment there. So Kyle, will we do a quick sort of house rules of how this is going to work, and then let's just throw ourselves into this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, as I said, we're going to pick our combined 11s, but firstly, we'll have each our own. So we're going to kind of work through positions. So obviously 2 openers, middle order, wicketkeeper, and our bowlers. I suppose everyone knows with COVID, we are going to work off of having no crossover. So any players that are named in the test squad, therefore, cannot be named in the white ball squad. So that's kind of basically what we're going to be working off of. And I think, we're going to open up the debate and see how we go.
Perfect. No, definitely. It's probably the fairest way for now to do it. Obviously, people will be crying and saying, why isn't Stokes in the T20? He's playing red ball. Simple as.
Yeah.
Let's fire into this. Right. So as you say, let's break it down. Openers, middle order, keeper and bowlers. PJ, who is going to open for England in Test cricket against the West Indies in your selection?
So I've gone with Rory Burns and Dominic Sibley. I just think both boys have kind of earned their way to the top and earned another little go. I suppose Burns drew rate of runs, and so Sibley is quite a tough character and has also scored a lot of runs at such a young age. So he's someone actually I feel like I want to do well as well after what he's been through, I suppose, over the last few years. So so Burns and Sibley are my 2 openers.
Well, very good. One of your fellow Mullingar Cricket Club members may have referred to Tom Sibley as PJ Mount-esque, shall we say, in terms of his batting. But I would go with Burns and Sibley. They're the 2 guys in my line. Obviously, Crawley's done a really good job while Burns was injured, but I think you have to take into consideration the work that Burns has done previous, hitting the tons. Obviously, he was in trouble last summer against Ireland, and he came back at a really strong Ashes. So for me, it's Burns and Sibley. Kyle, are you any different, or where are you going?
No, I think they're the only 2 that you can go with. Both have very unorthodox, I suppose, techniques, but they have the Surrey connection. They grew up basically together. So, the work has been put in by the 2 lads. So, absolutely, I agree with that.
Perfect. Okay, so we are signed off on our openers. It is going to be Rory Burns and it's going to be Dom Sibley opening the batting for England against West Indies. Kyle, take us through your 3 to 7.
Okay, well, my 3 for me is Joe Denley. Huge fan of him. Very nuggety cricketer. I think the number 3 position has been a problem for England since Jonathan Trott. Really, it's kind of been a merry-go-round. Yeah, it's been a merry-go-round of everyone. So for me, man in possession and a very likable character as well. And as I said to you, he brings a little bit of leg spin also as an option, but it's there.
To varying degrees of success, but he does.
Yes, he does. Obviously, number 4 is going to be our captain, Joe Root. I think that's a universal choice. No argument there. We all know what he's like. Number 5, for me at the moment, the best cricketer in the world, Ben Stokes. Easy, very easy selection. Offers so much in the field and obviously with the ball as well. And he's just an absolute out-and-out leader. And number 6, Ollie Pope. Probably the best up-and-coming batsman of his age and his generation. Future number 3, I think, really and truly he's got it all. And for me, this is going to be the controversial one, is our keeper. It's going to be Ben Stokes. Ben Foakes, Ben Foakes. Has to be.
Stokes could probably keep as well.
He probably could, he probably could, he probably tried, but no, it has to be Foakes for me. Best loveman in England. The series he had in Sri Lanka was outstanding, 150 in his first test outings, and I can't look past him.
That's fair enough. PJ, what do you got?
So I have not gone with Denley. I like Joe Denley. He seems to be a guy who's worked really hard in first-class cricket, got himself to average something like 38, 39. But 14 test matches and no tons isn't good enough from your number 3. So I've actually gone with Crawley. I think he's only gotten better as time's gone on. Each of his innings he's improved. And I think, give him time at number 3, he might develop into your number 3 for the next few years. I've gone Root, Stokes, Pope as well as my middle order. I don't think England have any choice other than to go with that. And then I've gone with Joss Butler as my keeper, simply because he's, again, the man in possession. He may have had a poor tour of South Africa, but I'd rather a poor Stokes than an okay folk. A poor Butler than an okay.
It's contagious. It's contagious.
Maybe we shouldn't pick Ben Folks on the reasoning that we can't pronounce Stokes.
Ben Folks.
So you've gone Crawley, Root,
Stokes, Pope, and Butler.
Okay, so there's 2 changes to what Kyle has there. So I think we can universally sign off on 4, 5, and 6. I've gone with Root, Stokes, and Pope there as well. I did consider the Pope at 3 because they had that conversation, but I think it's maybe a little bit too soon. Let the kid keep developing and then slowly maybe progress him up the order. My 3 is the same as PJ's. I've gone with Zach Crawley as well. I think not so much from what PJ said in terms of 14 tests, no tons, but I just think Denley's 35?
34, yeah.
34, 35. He's had a crack at this now. He's had varying degrees of success if you really want to kind of nitpick into it. Crawley looked like a lamb in New Zealand, but he toughed it out in South Africa, I thought. And I think if we're moving forward and we're trying to pick this team is obviously going to be a starting point for the next Ashes. And I think you need to have guys who are, it's probably a bad way of saying it, but like no scar tissue. And while Denley hit that 94 against at the Aussies at the Oval in the last test, he hasn't really done anything else, I don't think. And for me, I would go with Crawley at 3 on that basis. So I go Crawley, Root, Stokes, Pope. And then for my keeper, lo and behold, we've got 3 different decisions here. I am going to go back to old Red Balls himself, Johnnie Bairstow. I just think that they talk so much about him. They talk so much about how they want to get him back into the squad and get him back into the team that I think that they will do it. They will. I feel like sometimes they look for a reason just to take somebody out to bring him back in, and he's always like that first guy back in. Do I think in my heart that he deserves to go back in? No, but I do think that Bairstow is going to be the wicketkeeper, and he is on my team.
I just think with the West Indies being the opposition, you've got Holden, you've got Reefer, 2 boys who are going to bring the ball right back into Butler, or into Bairstow, should I say, who we all know loves that getting bowled. So, and you've got 2 guys who are going to attack the stumps pretty much 70 or 80% of their balls. You can't pick Johnnie Bairstow. He's just so exposed. It's just, he's not going to average. Not going to average what he should do. He's going to be detrimental for his career. And you can't keep on picking a lad and dropping a lad. That's come a stage where you're like, no more of Bairstow. We want either Folks or we want Butler.
But has really Butler or Folks got like a wealth of moments, almost you could say, that you can go, yeah, I feel like with the 3 guys that there's so much holes in them that I don't think any of the 3 of them are like perfect cricketers to go in with. And I think Folks got the rough end of it that time, but he hasn't come back and like set the world alight away from the test arena. And I think this is going to be really interesting kind of debate between the 3 of us to really kind of like agree on one. I think Folks, Kyle, I know you're a big fan of him, and obviously you've picked him. He is the best lovesman of the 3 of them. But I don't know, does he bring the best batting of the 3 of them?
Well, you say about Denley, you look at his record of no test centuries. Butler has 1 test century, and he's on the scene since, 2016? That to me, that's just not good enough, I don't think. He struggles with the swinging ball as well. So for me, I just think that overall, the whole package, Folks just brings the best. Like you say, he had the rough side of the draw with being picked and then dropped. I've seen so much of Butler. Butler is just so important to the white ball team. Like, he is everything. I think he's the next captain after Morgan. That I think with the way things are going, that he just hasn't the technique to bat through. I know he can change the game. They're looking for that. Everybody's looking for that Adam Gilchrist. I know you're going to sneer me for saying Adam Gilchrist, but that's
everybody drink. Kyle said Adam Gilchrist.
Yeah, but every keeper has been compared to that man since he basically reinvented what a batsman keeper should do. But no, I understand what you're saying with Johnnie Bairstow. I just think he's an absolute no chance. I think the thing that's kept him there so long is that Yorkshire connection with Joe Root. I think that's just helped him.
That's
massively.
a controversial comment to make live on YouTube. Now you can't take that back.
Well, look, I stand by it.
We've just lost the Yorkshire market now.
Sorry, I think we've gained Lancashire, so you know.
Right, we need to pick one of these guys. What you're saying? Sorry, PJ, go on.
I was just going to say I'm happy enough to go with Folks because it was pretty much a toss between Butler and Folks. I feel really uncomfortable leaving Butler on the line with Folks playing, but at the same time I can see Kyle's argument with Folks. You know, give him a run of a few Test matches in a home slumber against a quite mediocre West Indies attack, and maybe he might go and average 40 or 50, score a ton or two, get a couple of 50s. You know, it might be the best team for English cricket going forward. He's a wee bit younger than Butler as well, and Bairstow in that regard. So I'm happy to go with Folks, but you know, not even considering Johnnie Bairstow.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take off my Yorkshire hat and I will agree on Ben Folks as the captain. But we're still going to have this Stokes Folks sentence issue. But listen, they can sort that out in the field. So we've got 6 over 7. We need to go back to 3. Kyle, you are Denley and we are Crawley.
Yes.
Kyle, someone's ringing you there.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot to put it on silent before this. Going back to the Denley thing, I think, as you said, there's been so much chopping and changing with that top order for England. Sibley and Burns are still finding their way in Test cricket. And I just think you bring in Zach Crawley at 3, you have a very, very inexperienced top order, and then it's straight back to the good old problem of 4, 5, 6, 7 digging England out of problems. I just think that Cook Trot-esque Denley, even though he's not exactly scoring at a rate of knots, he's not going to get out cheaply. You know he's going to hang in there for at least 30, 40 balls. Hopefully takes the worst of the shine off the swinging ball as well. It gives Joe Root a chance to reset mentally, as he said. That's why he doesn't like to bat 3. So for me, as well as what he brings with his nubby, even in the field, Denley is superb. I know he had that awful drop in New Zealand, and we'll try and forget that. But he's an outstanding fielder as well. And I just think he's the man in possession, deserves his chance. But that's just my opinion.
I find it very hard to justify us picking Denley and not picking Butler, though, for that reason. Like, I mean, we are looking for the future. We're looking ahead. And I mean, Denley is not going to play the next Ashes series in Australia, regardless if he's selected for this tour or not. It seems like a negative pick going with Denley. Right? We have got Crawley. We've got someone who's improving, only getting better. And, you know, why not encourage that against, as I said, a mediocre West Indies attack? Let him score his tons. You know, not let him be like another Compton or a Lyde who is in for 3 or 4 games and then is discarded and not thought about again.
Yeah, I think with the Denley thing, you made the point there, Kyle, about almost kind of like stopping the bleeding of that kind of collapse at the top. Denley hasn't really done that, and I'm not saying that Crawley would, but I think at this stage, after 14 Test matches, I think that there's an argument to be made of they're already bleeding at the top anyway. So give the young lad a chance, and if it doesn't work out, they can then, as they have done many a time, by going back to Bairstow, and they can go back to Denley in the same way. So that would be why I would go with Crawley.
Look, democracy has it. I'll bow down to Zach Crawley at 3.
Grand. So we have our batsmen. So we are going Rory Burns, Dom Sibley, Zach Crawley, Joe Root as captain at 4, Ben Stokes at 5, Ollie Pope at 6, and we have agreed on Ben Folks as our keeper at 7.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, right, this is going along very quickly. So, bowlers. Kyle, take us away. What do we got from 8 down?
Okay. My number 8, he's actually on the cover of the Wisden Monthly next month, is Moeen Ali. I just think they've made so much about bringing Moeen Ali back in, and he's announced on social medias and Sky, and I want to be back playing red ball. And I just think he offers so much to the balance of the team as well. So yeah, Moeen Ali is my number 8. Number 9, I've gone for Jofra Archer. I just think he's an X factor bowler. He's not just out and out pace. He offers an awful lot more. Plus, it's against the West Indies, where he's born, and so I just think he brings that. Number 10. I've gone back and forth between Broad and Wokes, but I'm going to stick with Stuart Broad. I just think his record is just outrageously good. And number 11, I think Jimmy Anderson has to come back in. So yeah, that's what I've got.
Perfect. Just before PJ we get to you, just want to bring up this comment. Neil Swaby, folks, definitely. So we've agreed on him, Neil. So there you are. You can shout it out on the show as well. But also an outrageous comment. Can't believe Kyler didn't pick Roy.
Don't worry, there's still white ball cricket to come.
Neil, I don't know if you missed the start of the show, but Roy isn't in the 30 test, man. So he's not eligible for this part of the conversation. But no doubt Kyle will speak about Jason Roy later on.
I've got Adam Gilchrist in, so Jason Roy.
You did. You're nearly there.
Yeah.
PJ, give us your 8 to 11.
So I've gone with, as much as I'd love to pick Ali as a fellow Liverpool fan and all that. I've gone with Best as my spinner, Archer. Again, echoing what Kyle said. I've gone for Wood and Anderson, so no Broad or no Wokes or no Curran. I just think Wood has had an excellent last 18 months. You think about the South Africa tour, you think about West Indies last year, you think about the World Cup. Just throughout was very consistent. And then Anderson, because I believe the new ball is going to be extremely important with no saliva and no shining, that you want the best new ball bowler in the world to take the new ball. James Anderson happens to be that, so I went with those 4.
Interesting. So for me, I have gone with, suppose, again, going back to kind of this loyalty kind of theme that we have, I'm keeping Dom Bess in at 8. I've gone with Wood at 9, and then the 2 boys, Broad and Anderson, 10 and 11, respectively. So I think of our selection, I think Anderson's the only one that we've universally agreed on.
Yeah.
So Broad's been mentioned twice. Wood's been mentioned twice. And then, so let's get into it. So we've got this kind of Broad, Wood, Archer kind of conversation. I suppose before maybe we go into that, do we need a spinner? Let's have this conversation. Is a spinner required in Old Trafford? Yes. As the resident spinner, PJ Mount, take it away.
Oh, 100%, especially with the new sort of regulations regarding the ball and not being able to shine or scuff it up. You need a spinner, and you're going to need a spinner, especially middle July. Look, it's going to be warm. Some of the bowl a few overs. I don't trust either, Joe Root or Dom Sibley to bowl get me through my overs to spin if I need it. And although the West Indies, generally favour spin bowling because of the way the pitches are out there and their competition where you've got a number of spinners bowling in it. If you go back to South Africa where England didn't select their spinner and it cost them their game out there realistically, I just think it's really silly not to go into a match without a decent spinner. And England have a decent spinner in Dom Bess that they can select. So I'd go down that route.
Kyle, what do you think?
Well, as I said, I've already gone with Moeen Ali. They've put so much time and effort into trying to get him back in. He offers an awful lot with the bat as well. It really balances out your side. I just think it's very interesting that none of us have even mentioned Jack Leach, the great Jack Leach, the hero of the other hero, I suppose, of Headingley. But no, I'd agree with PJ that you absolutely do need a spinner. Manchester is known to be conducive to it. But I can't. I know Don Bess has done very well, and I suppose it'll go back to this debate of the future Ashes series ahead and that sort of stuff. But for me, I just think in English conditions, what Moeen Ali offers with the ball is economy and wickets, and that's massive, considering the experience he would have on Bess as well. So for me anyway, I think he's another Joe Root favourite, and I can't look past him.
Yeah, I think again, I feel like the Ali conversation is a lot like the Bairstow conversation in that they're always trying to find a way to get this guy back in.
Yeah.
I'm in no way disputing the quality of Mo and Ali. I think that, I used the term earlier, scar tissue, and I think that there still is a lot of that in Ali. He went pre-COVID saying, he wasn't ready for test match cricket. He needed another break. And then yet when COVID hit, no lads, I'm grand. Yeah, happy to play red ball cricket again. And I just, like, we've had obviously 12 weeks of kind of like with our thoughts, and he may be better mentally. I'm not disputing the fact that he would or wouldn't be. But I think I think for this series and moving forward, I think Bess he's got something in him. I don't think anybody thought he would do as well as he did in South Africa. Even coming in as, like, he wasn't even in the squad, and then he was added, and then he jumped ahead of Leach. And I think you have to kind of back these guys. And I think, it's the same thing as I said about Crawley. Like, if it doesn't work, yeah, you can go back to Moen, but like, let's have a go. Let's see what this guy is like in these conditions. Let's see what this guy is like on our turf almost. And that's why I would go with Bess.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose England have had a young off spinner before who they disregarded for a good 5 or 6 years, and he turned out to be the best off spinner they've ever had in Graham Swan. And you'd hate for them to make that mistake twice in 20 years. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they probably could, but
it is England we're talking about.
They have the track record for it. No, that's fair enough. I think, look, as I said, again, democracy, that's why we have a third party here. And, I'm happy to go with that. So we'll go with Bess as our winner then.
So Bess is getting the gig. So we have 9 of 11. So now I picked Wood and Broad. Kyle, you had Archer and Broad, was it?
I had Archer and Broad. I think Archer for me is non-negotiable. Has to play. How long have England looked for a 90 miles per hour plus bowler who can just do so much with the ball? Like, if the ball, like we've seen, as I said, in Headingley when it wasn't a quick pitch, still took 5 for. Very, very intelligent, can bat a little bit. But again, it's just the fact he's playing against the West Indies, and it's hard to believe that he's not going to be fired up and really want to prove a point against them. Again, as well, looking to the Ashes, like, Archer is going to be massive down under on those pitches. Like, it's just going to be a huge, huge bonus for England. So yeah, I think he absolutely has to play.
PJ, who did you have again? Sorry.
I have Archer and Wood. Again, a bit like Archer, 90 miles an hour plus. Harry, a batsman, can pitch it up and get the ball, do a bit of stalking as well. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't just let them? Again, England have been crying out, as Kyle said. I'm just echoing what Kyle said pretty much here. But crying out for someone who can scare and intimidate batsmen in a sort of friendly way. That you couldn't not select them.
Okay. Let's take this maybe in a different way. So we each have 3. So we have 3 guys on the chopping block, and we've both picked 2 of them. Is there a world where England don't pick Broad? How let's have that conversation, and then that might solve the Archer Wood. Where do England not pick Broad in this instance?
I do see it. I do see that. Yeah, I do definitely, especially with like the long break. Anderson and Broad are at that age now that they have to just be willing to take, I don't want to say a back seat, for the want of a better word, I suppose. They have to be managed, I guess. And again, I said, spinning forward to the Ashes, can you imagine Mark Wood and Archer on the same team? It's just terrifying. So yeah,
could they gas out if they're both on the pitch together, though? Is there a fear of them gassing?
You still have the Stokes option and Anderson.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I was just going to say about Broad, about that conversation. I mean, Broad's been an excellent server for English cricket over the last decade, but I mean, there is a time where you got to move on. And I mean, Broad's pace has dropped dramatically. I know he's worked hard in trying to keep it up, but I mean, it's still hovering around 84, 85. I say it's dropped. I mean, I couldn't face 84, 85 mile an hour ball and even fit the rest of us, but there we are. It's all relative. Again, what does he offer when the ball's not new, when the ball's not doing anything? He can dot up a few balls, but he doesn't become a wicket-taking option realistically.
Okay.
So I'd rather in Test match cricket, your boys are going to help you take 20 wickets. And I don't think you need Broad and Anderson in the same team anymore realistically as England have Archer.
Who opens the bowling with Anderson then? Is it Wood or is it Archer? Which one does it?
I go Archer.
I'd agree with that. I'd say the same.
Okay, I'm happy to take Broad out if you are both happy to put Wood and Archer in.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, yeah.
Okay, so we have our England Test 11 and it's picked by the opening pair network. Once again, it is Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Root, Stokes, Pope, Foakes, Bess, Wood, Archer, and Jimmy Anderson is our 11 for the first test against the West Indies. I suppose just from a 12th man point of view, I have Wokes / Dan Lawrence. Just I don't know who you guys had picked for that.
Yeah, I also had Dan Lawrence, still only 22, has had a really good tour down under with the Lions there. Can bat anywhere in the top, pretty much top six. Obviously Crawley opening of Bundy injured. With Crawley batting three, one of the openers going down, he can slot in a three and let Crawley go up to open. So a good all-round option, I feel.
Who do you have, Kyle?
Well, both of my 12 men have actually been put into the starting 11, so...
so you know 12 men?
Well, I'll have to go... I'll go on the fly. I'll go with Chris Wokes. I just think in English conditions can bat as well. Yeah, I think he offers a lot of cover from 8 down.
Perfect. So that's it. So we have our test team picked. We have our 12th man who's going to carry drinks. Just before we get on to the T20, I just want to remind everybody watching either live or watching on the replay, if you could give the video a like. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps people find it. We are still a very young channel and we are trying to grow. Any likes would be very much appreciative. Please subscribe. We are going to try and start pumping out more content now over the next weeks and months. We really hope that you're enjoying this show as much as we're enjoying having it at the moment. Final thing is comments really do help. If you leave a comment after the video has been completed, again, it just helps with everything. But yeah, I just wanted to get that little bit of office stuff out of the way, and let's get back into the conversation with the T20. Obviously, the great Neil Swaby. Can't believe that Kyler didn't pick Roy, but I have a feeling, Kyle, you're going to bring his name up now. So do you want to take it away with the T20?
Yeah, so again, the same format. We're going to go with openers, middle order, keeper, and bowlers. Obviously, as I said earlier, we can't pick anyone in the test squad. So that kind of, as I was saying to PJ during the week, it makes it a lot more interesting. So really, I suppose, with the white ball stuff, it's a chance to have a look at guys now that the World Cup more than likely isn't going to go ahead. So yeah, opening up, I'm going to go obviously with the great Jason Roy, and Tom Banton, I think, has to open. He's been compared to KP. That's the other name I wanted to get dropped in there. But no, he's been strong. He's been strongly compared to Kevin Peterson. Very exciting 20-year-old opening batsman, can keep as well, which is always useful. England love an all-rounder. So yeah, I think those two, for me anyway, have to go.
PJ, who you got?
I've also gone with Roy and Banton. I've actually gone for Banton to keep. I think he's done a really good job with the gloves from what I've seen with him with Somerset over the last few years. And so his performance in the Royal London final last year was really put him on the big stage, could show he could do it. So I think Banton's one for the future. I don't think he's going to be someone who's going to be forgotten about in 5 or 6 years down the line. So I went with Roy and Banton as well.
Yeah, perfect. I think we can sign that off. I've the two boys as well. So Jason Roy and Tom Banton are opening in the opening pair network T20 team. So I did a 6-5 split batsmen to bowlers. So my 3 to 6 is David Milan at 3, Owen Morgan at 4, Sam Hain coming in to make his England debut at 5, and Sam Billings at 6, and he's my keeper. But I think that's interchangeable. If we all had him in our team, we could pick either or. PJ, who did you have between? What's your makeup of your balance? And who did you have?
Again, I went with 6 batsmen, 5 bowlers, and my 3 and 4 and 6 are the same as yours. So I went with Milan, Morgan, and Billings. But number 5, I went with Lancashire's Liam Livingston instead of Sam Hain. Now I like Sam Hain, don't get me wrong, but I just think Livingston at 5 is a much better option rather than Hain at 5.
Okay, Kyler, who do you got?
Yeah, so I also went 6-5 split. My number 3 is actually James Vince. I just think he's a superb player, Joe Root-esque. We have a lot of hitters around him. We need that guy that can just, I suppose, bat through. I know England love to attack, but they have a lot of players who can jump up and down the order. I'm a big fan of his. Obviously, Morgan, our captain, at 4. I've also gone with Liam Livingstone at 5. I watched him in South Africa last year playing in the T20 franchise, and he just impressed me. He has something about him, and he also has a bit of leg break there as well, which is a good option. I went with Sam Billings at 6. He's also my keeper. I just think he's been around for quite a while. Very, very good gloveman. Captain of Kent as well. So he's, for me anyway, he's our keeper. So that's what I've gone in my middle order.
Okay, so we all have the same 4 and 6 with Morgan and Billings. So PJ, why don't you take the number 3 debate away?
So I've gone with David Milan. I mean, he scored a ton not too long ago for England back at 3. His average is incredible. He scored a number of 50s in such a short amount of time. He always seems to top the run starts in the T20 Blast. I know there's issues about his character. I remember reading something about his Middlesex team recently and how his teammates were not too sad to see him go to Yorkshire.
And now we've lost another bracket of viewers.
We have now gained back our Yorkshire fans, so it's fine.
But nonetheless, character aside, the only issue you'd have is his calf injury at the moment. That's why he wasn't supposedly in the test squad. They wanted to leave that. Leave him have a bit of time to heal that. So I can't see if he's fit, he has to play. But I mean, I'm up for discussion.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Kyler. I think that Vince has been taken to the well too many times across all formats, and I don't see. He doesn't have a standout performance where you can go, this guy's a superstar. He's had a few starts here, a few bits here and there. As Peter said, Milan's got a ton. He came onto the scene with that 78 off 44 against South Africa. There's a lot of moments, as I was saying earlier, there's a lot of moments in the bank that you could turn to and say, this guy's the guy. I completely take your point about having a nudger and a nerdler, but that's why I've got Sam Hain at 5 to do that gig for me. And that's why I'm going with Milan as well.
I can also just say about Vince, if you go back to the World Cup, how much poorer were England when Vince played ahead of Roy when he was injured? I mean, they were two almost different sides. I know Roy's a player of good quality, but I mean, their replacement I felt was inadequate to say the least. Not a huge fan of Jay. Granted, he's got such a great cover drive and can play some sexy shots, but substantially as having an England career is not for Vince, I'd say, going forward.
Yeah, I take that all on board, but I think when we swing it back to the South African series, Milan in the final game of the series, I want to say, came in, had his chance, and didn't take it. He just didn't take it. He ate up a lot of balls, and he's getting on. What, he's 34, 35. He's knocking along there. He's older. Character-wise as well, is a question mark there. For me, I know Vince has been given time and time again. Just in the debate between the two, for me anyway, I'd stick with Vince. But I think you made a very good point, PJ, about in ODI cricket that he didn't take his chance. But in T20, he just seems to up a gear. I watched him in the series against New Zealand, and he was superb. He hit 250s in a row, and he looked absolutely world class. But again, in the spirit of democracy.
Kyle, you're not winning many of these, are you? You're not putting us struggling.
I'm really not. No, I know. I'm going to take a break here and reassess everything.
Here, Kyle, here, we'll take you off for a second.
Yeah, honest to God, yeah. Now, yeah. We've now lost PJ's head there.
No, there we go. That was good. Yeah. Neil Swaby chiming in again. Milan, not Vince. There you go. 3-1, Kyle. Now, so yeah. Right. So we have begrudgingly signed off on Milan at 3. So let's have the debate at 5. I've gone with Hain, and you've both gone with Livingstone, I think.
Yeah, I think you raised the point that Hain was going to be your nudger and nerdler. No one Owen Morgan, that's not his way. He doesn't want someone that's going to be. And again, look, Hain's got a superb record in domestic cricket, T20s. But it's just not. It's not the Morgan. It's not the Morgan way. It's all out, all the way. It's foot to the floor cricket. And that's why I just feel that Livingstone has that ability. He has a strike rate of 140, which is superb. He's played franchise cricket around the world as well, in Australia, where the upcoming World Cup is as well. So for me, I think he's.
He has played in Australia, but I don't think he's done. He hasn't set the world on fire over there in the Blast. I just think like there's a 55-man squad for a reason. Like there's obviously guys that they're highlighting within this wider group that they're maybe going to take a look at and move forward with in some manner. And I think if you're not going to give a guy a shot now, when are you going to give the lad a shot? Like Hayne has a lot of runs under him. I want to say he hit over like 750 in the English Blast 2 seasons ago. I could be wrong on that. And I think like given his age profile and the amount of runs that he has under his belt, I think he's worth a gig. And that's just why I would go with Hayne. But PJ, what do you think?
As I said, I really do like Sam Hayne, and he has scored a serious amount of runs. I think he averages 35 in T20 cricket, with a strike rate is only 120. And I mean, with a strike rate of 120, you're not going to get up to 200s that are needed. If you try to reference the South Africa series, there was 4 scores over 200, and the games were really tight. Sam Hayne isn't going to be the man who's going to carry you to 200. And granted, he's done really well for the Bears in the Blast over the last period of time, batting in the top 3. But I can't get him into my top 3, so therefore I can't get him into my top 3. He doesn't get into my side, unfortunately. And I suppose went with Livingston because you can just see there's something about him. And T20 kind of does allow you to have those players which are a little bit left field. Think about Nicholas Pooran for the West Indies going to the World Cup at an average of about 20 in list A cricket. I think it was poor enough anyway, but he was one of the stars for the West Indies in that tournament. So sometimes you just got to go with a hunch. And I mean, I do love stats, and I do love being able to say, right, this guy's him because he's done this, that, and the other.
Yes.
But with Livingston, I've seen him play in Rose's matches and score a load of runs. The Yorkshire fans again be liking that one. But yeah, so that's why I've gone with Livingston.
Okay, I'll let Kyle win one, and I'll take. I think though I do think Hayne is a really good prospect in some format for England, and I think it will be sooner rather than later before we do see him officially in an England shirt. So we've gone with Roy, Banton, Milan, Morgan, Livingston, and Billings 1 to 6. PJ, who is your bowlers from 7 down?
So I've gone with Willie, Jordan, Tom Curran, Adil Rashid, and Richard Gleeson.
Oh, Richard Gleeson getting the nod.
The great Richard Gleeson.
I'll explain why in a moment once you run through your sides, and I'll convince you both that Richard Gleeson is good enough for a gig.
Kyler, who you got?
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I've gone David Willey, left arm option. Chris Jordan, absolute certainty, has to play. Tom Curran at 9. I've Adil Rashid at 10. And I've gone with Pat Brown at 11.
Okay, PJ, do you have Rashid as well?
I have Rashid, yeah.
Okay, I have Curran, Jordan, Rashid as well, and then my other 2 is Pat Brown and Topley. So we are looking at Topley, Brown, Gleeson. Are those are the 3 other names floating around?
Willie.
And David Willey, sorry. So it's 4 into 2. Shall you guys take away the David Willey debate?
Yeah, so for me, I think he had a bit of a raw deal in the lead up to the World Cup. We go back to the great Liam Dawson, but we won't go there.
World Cup winner Liam Dawson.
Yes, correct. Yeah. No, I like that left arm option. It's a rarity in international cricket. Anything you can do that's slightly different, and it's a big bonus. Also, can give it an absolute whack down the order. Opens in county cricket for county, I should say. Sorry. I really like him. He's a battler as well. He revs it up and he gets right into the fight. I love that. I really, we've not mentioned that too much, but I love that fire that he brings. And he offers a bit of a balance to the team as well. But that's my democracy opinion given. So I'll leave it all.
PJ, why did he get the nod for you?
Again, I was looking at my first 6 overs and I was thinking, Willie will bowl 3 of those overs, will go for maybe 25 and might take a wicket. I don't think teams go hard at the top of the innings in international T20 as they do in franchise cricket. Apart from Ireland, of course. See, Willie, he did such a good job in the 2016 World Cup with both ball and bat. I remember that final, he hit 25 down the order, got in up to 160 an almost winning score on that pitch. But again, I suppose, Duffer, you were talking about earlier on about having memorable performances. I don't really remember many with Willie. I kind of just selected them because I was like, oh, Dave Willie has to get into my team.
Yeah.
So might be worth hearing what you have to say about was the other left armer, Topley.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't pick Willie is there's two reasons. One is there's obviously a higher reason, sorry to use reason multiple times, that England didn't go with him for the World Cup, and that to me says enough in the sense that they've moved on from Willie. I get completely what you're saying with the left arm option, Kyle, and that's why I went with Topley. Age profile is another thing we need to maybe think about here as well. Obviously the conditions that we're picking this team is very different because, let's be honest, if everyone was available, I don't think Willie or Topley would be talked about at all, potentially. So I went with Topley on age profile. It was more against picking Willie than for Topley. But I think if you guys are very strong about putting Willie in, I'm happy to put David Willie in instead of Reece Topley.
I'd like to interject. I really did debate Topley a lot. I have to admit, like I do like him, so I am open to the discussion with Topley, but I'll leave it with PJ what he thinks.
I'll just reference Reece Topley's character because I see he's done that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So he's been injured for years, and Sussex got him back playing last season, and he did a good job for them in the Blast, and they offered him a new contract, and he turned it down and went to Surrey. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but like we can't be talking about a guy's character ultimately.
We haven't selected Alex Hales for his character. I mean, Alex Hales
isn't into 55 though. We're talking.
The point that PJ raised, I do see what he's saying. Like Morgan is, say what you like about him, he's a man of principle when it comes to picking his teams, and I do think that is a factor, most definitely. That what you do on and off the field is a massive thing, and they have the quality, they have the depth there as well to say to a guy, if you are not representing us the way we want, you are gone, and you have to take that into account, I think.
And look, to be fair to Topley, I mean, that's probably only a minor nitpick on my behalf, giving up what people going for more money. However, he did have his opportunity before, and again, did he really take it? I know he played in that 2016 World Cup, but I mean, he was replaced by Plunkett pretty early on in the tournament, and really hasn't seen much since. I know injuries and all that have occurred, but played for 4 different counties and not really done anything impressive in that time. So.
Okay, so what I'm hearing a strong kind of plus for Willie. So maybe let's just take Willie to one side and let's talk about the other three. So we have Topley, we have Pat Brown, who was mentioned twice, and we have the left field pick of the great Richard Gleeson. So do we see 2 out of those 3 jumping ahead of Willie, or do we think that Willie is one of the 2 we're picking out of this 4?
I can see Brown and Gleeson going ahead of Willie, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. So let's talk about Brown then for a second. Kyle, did you have Brown in your team?
I had Brown in my team, yes. He has impressed me. Like, he's a very, very skillful bowler. Takes the pace off a lot, which I really am a fan of. Very intelligent, and he has age. That age profile is on the side as well. I do have Brown. I will definitely I'll definitely be on side with Brown winning the team.
Are we agreeable then to signing off on Brown being in the team?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we have 4 bowlers confirmed now. We've Curran, Jordan, Brown, and Rashid. So it's Topley, it's Richard Gleeson, or it's Willie. So PJ, you were the one who brought in Gleeson, so I think it's only fair that you take this portion to talk about him.
First of all, our kind of bowlers at the moment are all, very similar mid-80 type bowlers. Richard Gleeson bowls at 90 miles an hour. Plus, I suppose there's always that fairy tale story, and I suppose it was a pick, like looking at a guy who at 26 years of age is doing a bit of coaching in schools around Lancashire. Gets called up to play for Northants, has a fantastic blast. Somehow he even misses the biggest moment, misses finals day, and yet they still win. And it goes on, has done another 2 years at Northants, continuing to do just as well in the blast and first class cricket. And then finally, at the age of 29, goes to Lancashire and has continued to be consistent since then. And this bowling action, he kind of runs in, bowls, and has his head down as he's releasing the ball. It's very, I can imagine it's fairly unsettling as a batsman to face it. Has a pretty decent record, and to be honest, the fairy tale story is why I have him in my team, and a little bit of pace.
Is there an argument, though, that kind of off the back of those Northants victories and kind of coming into Lancashire, that if he was going to be picked and selected, that would have been the time period? Or did he really kick on again?
I don't, in all fairness, England don't pick many people from Northants. Regardless, Ben Duckett was doing wonderful things before he was even noticed. I think he was averaging something like 55 in one-day cricket before he got his gig, and 40 odd in first-class cricket. That's a 20-year-old. They just don't England fancy picking players from certain counties. So he probably wasn't really on their radar at Northants, but when he did it for Lancashire too, they were kind of like, oh, we'll take a bit more notice of him then.
Right. So that's the pitch for Gleeson. So we've talked about Gleeson, talked about Topley, and we've talked about Willie. Kyle, rank them 1 to 3 in your eyes.
I mean, come on, PJ sold it as the Ryder over stuff here with Gleeson. Like, how do you top that? No, look, it's you do. As I said to you earlier, I think we were speaking offline. That I was worried about my 11. I didn't have a guy that could hit that 90 miles per hour mark. I'm a huge fan of David Willey. I really am. Like you're saying with Northants, he was getting recognition with England when he was there. Again, hits it very, very far with the bat down the order and has that fire. Oh God, I'm on the fence a little bit, but
give us a name.
I'm going to have to go with the fairy tale story. PJ, you've sold me. We go with Richard Gleeson, 90 miles per hour.
So PJ, are you sticking to your Gleeson over Willie and Topley?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, well, oh, look at that, arms folded. Yeah,
that shows not fast.
Well, I mean, we've all been captains before, and I mean, we kind of looking at when you're selecting a bowler to bowl, you kind of go to yourself, who do I want? Do I want someone who's same, or do I want someone who's a bit left field? And I suppose we've all done it to varying levels of success. And I mean, well, I had no success, but I mean, I always wanted that.
That's for part 2. We'll talk about that in your part 2 interview, PJ.
But I always wanted, let's say, someone who's a wee bit taller or a wee bit faster or a wee bit different. And I think Gleeson and Artak is that little bit of difference.
I think also a point is that he's in that 55-man squad as the oldest on-cap player for a reason. There's fans of him somewhere in the ECB. And as you say as well, there's just that difference that he brings. So I think it's as good as option as any.
Okay, I will bow to the 2v on this one on the vote of the 2 to 1. So we have rounded out our T20 team. So at the opening pair of networks, England T20 team is Jason Roy, Tom Banton, David Milan, Owen Morgan as captain, Liam Livingston, Sam Billings, or Banton to keep. We're happy enough either way. And then the bowlers are Tom Curran, Chris Jordan. Richard Gleeson will make his debut for England, according to us. Pat Brown and Adil Rashid. So that is our 11. So we did it. We managed to not fall out and pick 2 pretty competitive teams. Is there, I suppose, one thing I know we didn't really kind of touch on it. Is there anybody that we didn't pick that could be an outsider for either team, do you think? Or
Liam Plunkett is, for me, anyway.
Well, within the 55-man permit.
In the white ball?
Either. Is there anyone that kind of jumps out to you that might make a burst through? Or are we fairly kind of online with what's there?
Well, I think, Laurie Evans is someone who's probably worth a mention. Again, another older citizen at the age of 32, who has scored a lot of runs in T20 cricket in the last 2 years, has made that move from Birmingham up to or down to Sussex, and just kind of batting in the top 5 or batting the top 4 or 5 more often than he did down up at Birmingham. And I suppose, again, you won't be selecting an old man like that if there wasn't something about him. So I think he's someone who could be very seriously looked at. And I suppose there's no mention of Sam Curran in the Test squad, who seems to always be the easiest man to drop at the moment. And he's someone who could definitely always performs exactly.
Yeah, no, I think they're probably the names, I would say. Kyle, unless you have anything.
I actually, funny you mentioned Laurie Evans, I actually was thinking Phil Salt, one for the other Sussex batsman. I just think he has that X factor. I think he's a real Owen Morgan player.
But he's predominantly an opener, though, isn't he?
He is, and that's why I'm just thinking, will they go with potentially Banton at 3? You know, I'm going completely off script here.
Yeah.
But I just, again,
the team is picked, all right. These guys are getting their kick.
That's it now. It's over. But I like him as well. I've watched him a couple of times, and I just think he has that X factor about him. But I'm happy with what we have, though.
Perfect. Right. Well, I think our job is done for today. This has been a really, really enjoyable conversation to have. I think we've all kind of brought a lot to the table, and I think hopefully everybody watching who will watch live and watch on the replay will enjoy it as much as we've had it. PJ, I think we are going to let you go now. Is there anything that you want to plug, or are you happy enough to remain in social media obscurity?
I'm happy enough to remain in social media obscurity. Thank you very much, Duffer and Kyle, and best of luck with the revamp.
Cheers. Thanks very much, PJ, for dropping by, and hopefully we can get you back on again when the topic suits again. All right?
Super.
Thanks for
coming
on.
PJ. Take care as always. Kyle, that's it. We did it. Really enjoyable show. I think PJ really added a lot as a third voice, something that we can probably look to maybe include more as we continue to grow out this channel.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed that. I think the idea of a third person there just to balance things out and help make a decision is great. I'm just thinking in my head there, watch England go and can pick 2 completely different 11s.
Oh my God, it's going to be funny to kind of see what they do. All in all, obviously the T20 team is going to change because it isn't going to be like for like. But definitely the test team is going to be interesting to see what way they go. But I think we are good. Let's wrap this up. As you can see below, guys, our Twitter handles are at Keekalove Media for myself and at KyleGavin23. If you haven't given us a follow on Instagram or on Twitter, I know you're very we're active enough these days. A lot going on now. It's nice to see things moving again, which is the main thing. And I think we will probably be back maybe next week or something. The Saturday show has really kind of been a good idea to do. But let's come up with another strong topic and come back again. I suppose I just want to make one last mention to Stephen Pulbrook again for the design of the new brand. I think it's really added to the show. Obviously, we made the joke beforehand of our black background with leaves on, just not quite what the vibe we were looking for. But no, this has been really, really enjoyable. And Kyle, I will let you have the last word before we say goodbye.
Yeah, no, it's just great to be back. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the show. I also want to pass on my thanks to Stephen. He did a fantastic job. Also thanks to PJ for coming along and taking part. No, it's just brilliant to be back. And hopefully everyone who tuned in will stick with us now. And look, as well, also, you were saying with mentions, let us know, guys, if there's anything you want us to talk about, or, please enter in comments to the channel as well. It's great to have interaction with everyone. And yeah, hopefully we will see you next Saturday with another strong debate.
Guys, once again, please like the video, leave a few comments, pick your 11s for your Test and T20 team, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Guys, I've been Keekalove, joined once again by Mr. Kyle Gavin in association with PJ Mount on the side. Everyone take care, enjoy the rest of your weekends, and keep safe as always. Mind yourself, guys. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.